Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I will be your host, and I have some very interesting guests for you today. I always have something interesting for you. Come on, you know I do. And today is definitely nothing different. It is definitely an interesting day in the Voodoo Garden. And I wanted to show you a couple things here. But next episode, I'm going to drag you downstairs because it's about time for an update downstairs in the big Voodoo Garden. This is the little Voodoo Garden. I have the big Voodoo Garden. It's not actually a big Voodoo Garden, but it's for all the plants that can't seem to fit in this room anymore. We're going to go down there next week, and I got something to show you that you're really... Hopefully you won't believe it, but you're going to have to see it to believe it. But for now, I have some really cool, wonderful, strange, voodoo-ish type things in the Voodoo Garden. And by the way, don't worry about the name voodoo. It has nothing to do with black magic or anything like that. I took the name voodoo just because I thought it was a cool name, and it has to do with the garden. I mean, I grow things that are really strange, bizarre, things that you don't normally see, out of the ordinary, and that's the only thing the word voodoo means. So don't get all freaked out about the name. It is absolutely innocent, absolutely fun, and all things are definitely possible in the Voodoo Garden. And I want to show you something that proves that. Take a look at what's growing in this pot. First of all, this is supposed to be miracle plants. And remember that big miracle berry thing that I'm growing? Yeah. Well, a friend sent me a couple little baby miracle fruits and I planted them in here, but something a little unexpected happened, and I think the unexpected should be... Yep, those are mushrooms. And they're not just any mushroom, they're beautiful, bright, shocking yellow mushrooms. And they're growing in this pot. And I have these, by the way, growing in a lot of my plants. It's a common thing. And I don't worry about it because mushrooms in your plants doesn't hurt your plants. I've never had them hurt my plants ever. All they're doing is they're feeding off the organic matter in your potting soil or outside, and that helps break it down. I mean, in a compost pile, mushrooms are the final phase of your compost, and they help break things down. So mushrooms don't hurt anything. And I think I got them in my bag of potting soil that I mixed in here. And it doesn't bother me. I just let them grow, and they fall apart, and they break down, and they die, and then I take some gloves, and I pick them out and throw them in the trash. But it's a cycle. They just keep going and going and going. But I wanted to show you that. And while you're down here, take a look at the other things on my display table. This next item is nothing very spectacular, but it's called a tree tomato. And it's not an actual tomato. No, even though it's called a tree tomato, it's a tree that puts out fruits that look similar to tomatoes, but they're not. Somebody sent me some seeds and I got one to germinate, and I wanted to show you. Here it is in the beginning, and hopefully this thing is going to have a long, happy life here in the Voodoo Garden. Now I'm going to go onto Google real quick, and I'm going to show you a picture of the fruit or tree or something, and I'm going to toss it here just for a second so that you can see what it's going to look like, so that you'll see that it's not an actual tomato, but it's a, I don't know, it's a tree. Take a look at this.
Fear me!
Yep. That is going to be an original plant, and it's definitely a welcome addition to the Voodoo Garden. So, whoever sent those seeds, thank you. Thank you so much, and let's move on to the next one. I have two of these, and they're called date palms. These were sent by Kim, and look at how well they're doing. Yep, Kim, I planted these from the seeds you sent, and they sprouted. I have never in my life had luck with palms. It's just not my thing, and for some reason, these are loving it in the Voodoo Garden, so I have some good palm karma going on, and I think they're doing pretty good. They're grown under nothing but artificial light, and they seem to like it up here. Plus, it's hot and humid up here, so I think that may be helping quite a bit. This is one tall, very tall plant. Very tall, but it's very healthy. It has a little display of leaves coming out. This is an avocado. Yes, this is an avocado, but it's my unexpected avocado. It's my little voodoo-cado. What I was doing is I tossed a seed in here and I covered it up with soil, just a little bit of seed coming up, and it didn't sprout, and I thought, well, the seed went bad. And I gave it a good, I think, 2 months. And what I do with my soil is I just throw it back into a pot of soil and I just reuse it. And I was putting some soil in the cocoa tree downstairs in the big Voodoo Garden to raise up the soil level, because the soil just keeps getting deteriorated and goes down even more. I don't know, I think that tree's eating the soil. But I threw some soil in there, and I think it was a month later, I saw this little sprout come up, and I thought, what is that? And I dug down, I found the avocado pit. Yeah, that thing decided to grow. It wouldn't grow up here, but it decided it wanted to grow with the cocoa tree, which was, no, you can't do that because that cocoa tree needs all the soil it can get. So I took it up gently, and it had this really nice root system, and I planted it in the pot. So I have me a VoodooGarden, and it's doing really nice. That explains the long stem. It had to really push up through all this soil to come up, but it's looking really nice. I'm very happy to have it. It's definitely a welcome addition. And look at the little triplets over to your left. Can you guess what these are? Take a guess. Looks like a citrus tree in a way, but it's not. These three, I call them the triplets, these three are jackfruits. Yep, jackfruit is a tree, and I believe it's a tropical tree, and it grows the biggest fruit on earth. It's not going to happen here in my lifetime, but I'm enjoying growing the trees. And a friend from Facebook, and I forgot the name, and you know me, I always forget the names. A friend sent me 3 of these seeds, and all 3 sprouted. Go figure. So I have 3 jackfruit trees growing in here, and they are doing fantastic. They're not very old at all. I don't know how old they are, but they're not very old at all. Toss the seeds in the soil, they sprouted, they came up, and they're getting some really beautiful dark green leaves, and they're growing fast. And I believe jackfruit trees get, you know, just crazy huge. So they're never going to fit in here. I'm going to have to do some creative pruning. And by the way, I did try to grow one about a year or 2 ago, and spider mites took over. I am lucky that I haven't had any spider mites this year, and I think I'm going to be lucky all through the growing season. So these ones are going to survive. Yep, I have 3 jackfruits, and I'm very happy to have them. And I'm not going to just weed it out and have just one. No, 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 no. Not in this room. I'm going to have all 3 of them. Yep. Don't know where they're going to go. Don't know how much room I'm going to have, but I do know that all 3 of them are welcome here, and they're going to continue growing and being happy. So, welcome. New additions to the VoodooGarden. 3 jacks. Remember this? Yep. This is one of the 3 bulbs that a friend sent me when he had to move to another country. This is an Amaryllis. Yep. They came in bags, and they were all, you know, these really long anemic looking leaves. And I chopped them all off, and I planted the bulbs. And look at this. New growth, just beautiful. They are loving the VoodooGarden. See all this weird funky stuff on here? This is what's happening to some of the soil because it's extra rich, and I believe it came with the potting mix. And most people may not like that, but I do. It is these little yellow, really bright yellow fungus. Yeah, they're mushrooms. They turn into those big ones that you saw in the other pot. Yep, that's them. And I really don't mind because it adds some color to the grow room. So I'm having all kinds of yellow fungus growing in here, and they're loving it. By the way, the weird thing about this fungus is it's not because the soil's always moist. Normally you would see fungus because the soil's always moist. I don't do that. You know me, I do not let my soil stay wet. I let it totally dry out, even for these. I let them totally dry out, then I give them a good soaking. So whatever this fungus is, it's not following general rules where it's got to be moist and this fungus will grow. Nope. These are voodoo fungus, and they're doing their thing even with the dry spells these plants go through. But I wanted to show you this because hopefully, if I play my cards right, I may have amaryllis flowers, and it would be nice if it happened around Christmas because they call these the Christmas lilies, and that would be kind of nice. But regardless of whether or not they flower, they're doing wonderful here. These are what's called Moringa seeds. Moringa, I don't know, I don't care. But these are called Moringa seeds. Big, lightweight seeds. And when you plant these, they actually have a very nice germination rate. I planted one of these, and this is what I got. It germinated extremely fast, and it grew extremely, extremely fast. And now it is right up to almost chest level on me. And it's doing fantastic. The bottom leaves on this, and I've always had this experience, the bottom leaves will start turning yellow and die as this thing grows because it's a tree. It's not supposed to have branches all the way down to the bottom. These ones will grow outside in full sun, and I don't know if they're going to withstand winter, and I don't want to take a chance because this is the biggest I've ever gotten one of these things to grow, and it shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. It's going nuts. And I mentioned this before, I really can't stand the smell. When you do this, and you smell them, ooh, it smells like I don't know, gym socks. Really bad. And I wouldn't know what gym socks smell like, but I'm just assuming. But it's a beauty, and I wanted to show you this. It's growing nice. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no tips. All I know is it likes the artificial light, which is very bright in this room, and I've heard it will grow in full sun extremely well. So I could take this outside, but I choose not to because I have horrible luck with bringing them back inside and making sure there's no bugs. But I'm going to have to transplant this soon because it's in a 10-inch pot and it's already chest level, so I know that the root system is going nuts down there. So I better transplant this soon, and I'm assuming maybe a pot this big. I think this might be big enough for it. So I think I'm going to put it in this size pot. Take a look at this. First of all, take a look at what it was growing in. This is a homemade cup, and it was given to me by Chad, a friend of mine, and he made it in class. Yep, this kid made this for me in class, and it says Ray on the inside of the cup, and on the bottom it says Dance in the Sunshine. Yep, I love that thing, and I didn't use it for coffee. I used it to grow this thing in. I filled it with water, and I put this little weird tribble-ish looking thing. It looks like a tribble from Star Trek. Any old Star Trek fans, you'll know what a tribble is. This part right down here, these are the roots, or what I call the roots, and this is the plant. This is called a resurrection plant, or Rose of Jericho. Yep, these were like very, I don't know, trendy years ago, but they still sell them online. You can just look them up, and they don't cost that much. So I bought me one of these, and what you do is you toss it in a shallow thing of water, like maybe a couple inches of water, and within hours you can see this thing start to spread open. These will spread open, and then you put it in like a sunny window or outside or any kind of bright light, and it'll eventually it'll look almost like a fern. It'll turn green and start growing. And then if you grow it long enough, eventually it puts out these little, I don't know, seeds or spores or something, and it spreads. So it's kind of cool. And I was growing this for a while, and then I got kind of bored with it, so I took it out of the water, and in a day it turned dry. Gosh, it really dries up quick. And these things can stay like this, like a little tumbleweed, and they roll around out in the desert, and they can stay like this for years. That's why they call it the resurrection plant. It can just go on and on and on for many, 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 many years with no water whatsoever. And then out in the desert, sometimes you get these flash floods, and it hits a little bit of rain in a puddle. It'll open up, grow really quick in a matter of a couple of days, put out some seeds or whatever it puts out, and then dry up and roll around some more. Kind of a cool plant. I'm going to just keep this here dry. I don't know, maybe I'll give it away on a contest or something like that. Not the cup. You don't get the cup. But I may give away the resurrection plant and have somebody try it sometime. Oh, I can't even get all of these in frame. Take a look at this. 26. Yes, there are 26. I think there's 26. I think I counted 26 of these things. My new Koko Army. Remember, I had a Koko Army a long time ago, like a couple years ago. I planted my first cocoa tree, and that's what started the whole big shebang about growing cocoa in the house. And now I have this chocolate tree that is 7 feet tall downstairs in my grow room, and it doesn't even fit through a doorway anymore. It all started with this. And it's flowering like crazy. It's having a good time, but it needs some friends. And I was hoping that if I grew another one, maybe they would cross-pollinate and I would get some cocoa pods. That would be really, really cool. So I bought a cocoa pod online. Yes, you can buy these online. The pod cost me, I believe, $14 plus shipping, and it came up to a total of $20. And that's not bad when you get 26 seeds, and get this, 100% germination. Yes, every single freaking seed out of that. They sprouted. Normally you would think, yeah, if I get a few seeds that sprout, yeah, well, get ready for it. When you buy these things, you plant those seeds right away, and every single seed usually sprouts. And if not, it's every seed except for maybe one. And they sprout, and this is what they look like. Let me show you up close. They are the ugliest looking thing. Yep. Then you get these little leaves. They look so small and so delicate. And you think that this cup isn't very much room for these, but it takes them quite a while to develop a really good root system. So I can keep them in these small pots, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. Last time I grew these, I ended up with, I think, 8 that I kept. I threw the rest away. And most of them got spider mites and only 2 survived. Well, one of them just died a few months ago, so now I'm down to 1. So I'm going to take real good care of these and grow them up and see how many cocoa trees I can grow inside. Oh, that is just nuts. I know that's a really stupid amount of trees, but what can I do? You know, you get them all, you can't throw them all away, so I just planted them all, and this is what happens. So get ready for it, folks. We are going to be doing updates on the cocoa babies as they grow, and I'm going to show you how I transplant them, what the roots look like, what the new leaves look like. For those of you that missed the originals, these are the replacements. Yep. Something new in the Voodoo Garden. So, chocolate. These are called ice cream bean trees. Yep. A friend of mine, Zep Collector 98, I'm going to put a link below this video so that you can go to his channel and you can take a look at exactly what these pods look like. And he does a lot of exotic fruit taste samples. So if you ever want to see what certain exotic fruits are, like kiwi or ice cream beans or really strange stuff, he really does like exotic stuff. And so he will show you how to cut them open, eat them, give you his opinion on what they are. So that's kind of an original channel. You know, he doesn't just grow peppers and stuff like that. He does the exotics. So if you're ever looking for advice or any kind of info for a young gardener, he really knows his stuff. He knew more than I did, and he told me all about these, and I watched his video and I was just intrigued. He sent me these ice cream bean. Now, from what I understand, the pods on this, they're just these long, weird looking pods. You'll see it on his program. They get anywhere from 6 inches to 3 feet long. Yes, you heard me right, 3 feet long, and they're filled with these beans, but they also have this white cottony stuff that he says tastes a little bit strange, but it's supposed to taste like vanilla ice cream. Yep. So I have chocolate and vanilla. He sent me some seeds and they were sprouting. They look like cockroaches. Let me show you what they look like when I planted them. Take a look at that. I feel like I'm planting cockroaches. Don't they look like some kind of funky looking alien bug? Yeah. But they almost look like a cocoa seed. You know, they're kind of cracked open and sprouting. Really, truly bizarre. I don't really know which way to put these things. So I just took these little cups and I'm just kind of laying them in there. And boy, there's a lot of them. Holy crap, I don't know how many trees he thinks I can grow, but thank you. Get in there. Okay, what else do I got? Oh crap, really? 2 more? Zep, I think you overestimate the size of my grow room. Okay, this is how I plant seeds. I just take the cup, toss them in like that. I'm really low tech, you know, and the soil that I have, I've repeated it like a million times, but for the new people, it's half coir, which is cocoa peat, and half generic potting mix, and a heavy sprinkle of vermiculite. That's what I use for germinating seeds, and this is what I use for growing cockroaches. Okay, let's get this one in here. Maybe not. Maybe this one. And yeah, just toss it in there. Throw in maybe a ½ an inch of soil. I rarely have any kind of scientific or factual basis for what I do. I just I just do it. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, and I think that pretty much helps me because I don't overthink anything. Let's toss this. There you go. Everybody's covered. Everybody's happy. And then we add some water. How much? How much water do you add, Ray? Oh, I don't know, about this much. And that looks like a lot, but it takes a little bit for the soil to get sogged out and moist. I just want to make sure that the seeds are just covered enough to where they're not really showing. But since they're growing roots, I got a feeling they're going to come out really quick. A little water for you. This is basically how I plant everything. I just throw them in there, add some water, and it's so warm up here that everything germinates really, really well. Take a look at how warm it is. Yep, it's 92 degrees, and it's humid as heck in here, so it's not very comfortable at all. Well, not for me. For the plants, they seem to love it. They look kind of creepy, don't they? Yep, those little cockroaches are in here. and they're going to be pushing through the soil any day now. So I'm going to have chocolate and vanilla growing here in the Voodoo Garden, right here, right before your very eyes. I forgot to bring this one out. This is a Kikusui. Yes, a Kikusui is something, well, instead of telling you what a Kikusui is, I'm going to show you what a Kikusui is. It's a lot easier. This, my friends, is a Kikusui. Yes, this is a zucchini. Absolutely edible. Well, not this one because it's a dried zucchini. A viewer, and let me tell you something, if you don't think I have some strange and wonderful viewers, I have the best viewers on YouTube. I swear, and all due respect to all the other gardeners on YouTube, I have the best viewers. Because they're all a little touched in the head, just like me, and that suits me fine. A friend sent me this, and I didn't ask for this. I had no idea this was coming. I just got this long box by UPS, and it had this in it. This is a dried zucchini, and listen to this, okay? Listen. I have a good microphone on so you can hear this. Sounds like a rain stick. This is just a dried zucchini with all the seeds inside, and it's a Kikusui zucchini, and when these are green, when they're on the vine, you can slice them up, dice them up, and eat them just like a zucchini, and they're very delicious. Yes, they are. They grow anywhere from a foot to 3 feet long, and this is not 3 feet long, this is 4 feet long, so I think I have a record-setting Kikusui. And he also sent me a couple seeds, so I planted one. And I thought, what the heck? And people will tell you, you can't grow zucchini inside. They tell me a lot of things, and I just keep doing it anyway. So I'm growing me a Kikusui in my grow room, and I don't know. It may grow, it may not grow. But you know, whether it's something as simple as a little house plant like a pepper, or something as bizarre as a Kikusui, as long as we're having fun, that's the spirit of the Voodoo Garden, and that's what I like to promote inside, indoor growing, any time of the year. So, I know it's really strange, but I like it that way. I like it strange. I like my friends strange. I like my plants strange, and that suits me just fine. Thank you, everybody, for joining me in the Voodoo Garden for a really fun episode. Don't forget, well, you'll probably forget, but I'll remind you. Next week, I'm going to drag you downstairs, and I want to show you something that I have been working on, and it's just a little bizarre. It's something that's a little common, but I made it a little bit bizarre because it is the Voodoo Garden, and everything has to be a little bit off-center, and I think you're going to like it. It's an update on a plant that you saw a long time ago, but it looked a lot different. So, you're going to have to stay tuned for next week's Voodoo Garden to see that, and until then, I'm out of here. Have a great day, everybody.